Welcome back to the channel. Today we dive into an unfolding political showdown in Texas. One that could reshape the balance of power in Congress before the 2026 midterms is even underway. What's happening in Texas? In mid-2025, a bold new Republican strategy has emerged. Mid-decade redistricting. Normally, state maps are redrawn only after the census, but that hasn't stopped Republicans from trying to redraw them now to gain an edge. The GOP is aiming to net 5 additional congressional seats, going from 25 to potentially 30 of Texas's 38 total seats. This is gerrymandering. But what is gerrymandering? Every 10 years, an America-wide census is held. The last one was in 2020, and the next will be in 2030. Then, using a very complicated formula, each state is told how many representatives they get from the total of 435 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. Then the states take the number of seats they are allowed and cut their maps up into districts. Some states have commissions that draw up the boundaries. Other ones are drawn by the political party in charge. When it is drawn up by a political party, there is a potential for gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is when one party attempts to put as many people as possible of one party into a single district, in order to give the opposing party the fewest seats and themselves the most seats. This has nothing to do with fair representation and everything to do with which party gets the most power. After the 2020 census, Texas redistricted to get as many Republican seats as they could, but some people have moved and some people have changed who they want to vote for. As a result, Texas has decided to redistrict again to squeeze even more seats out of the total 38 seats they are allowed. This would give Republicans a 25% increase in the number of Texas Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives. Republicans are able to do this in Texas as they control their House, Senate, and the governorship. This map image shows 6 of the most gerrymandered districts in the United States. You can easily spot gerrymandering by the long, skinny lines. These lines connect communities or even subdivisions with a certain type of voter into one block. Whomever is drawing these maps are attempting to lump as many of the people they think will vote for them into one district, and those who will not vote for them into a different district. The question we as citizens of the United States have to ask ourselves is, who is all this redistricting being done for? Is it done for the people? Do we get better representation? Is it done for politicians who just want to continue holding power? The push is backed by President Donald Trump, who reportedly urged Republican leaders in Texas to act quickly. In response, Governor Gavin Newsom, who is a Democratic governor running the largest state in America, has called a special legislative session to pursue the redrawing of California's map, to take 5 seats from California Republicans and give them to Democrats. The Democratic response. So what did the Texas Democrats do to counter the redistricting plans of Republicans bent on taking 5 seats away from them? They staged a dramatic walkout. On August 3rd, more than 50 Texas House Democrats fled the state, denying a quorum and halting the redistricting effort in the Texas House. They didn't just disappear. They staged media appearances across blue state strongholds, leveraging the moment as a fight for fair representation and democracy itself. Texas Republicans got upset and even issued arrest warrants and threatened fines if the legislators did not return. The Texas authorities did not have the power to cross state lines and arrest the Democratic lawmakers, so they were stalemated. They couldn't force them to return. The Texas governor threatened to take away their seats and give them to other people, but that didn't work either. Republican push and Democratic counterstrike. Despite the disruption in the Texas House, the Texas Senate approved new lines, hoping the House would soon follow once Democrats returned. But Democrats had leverage. California, led by Governor Gavin Newsom, rapidly put forward its own redistricting proposal to gain up to 5 additional seats. This was a clear show of counter-pressure. Governor Newsom of California demanded Trump stand down, warning of retaliation if Texas pushed its redistricting through. On August 18th, Democrats announced their return, triggered in part by California's bold move. With that, the Texas House regained quorum and appears set to pass the GOP's redistricting plan. The new map is moving through the House, and a vote is expected soon. This redistricting plan may be in place by the time you hear this video. Here is the new map. Do you see all the squiggly lines? That is where politicians are picking and choosing their voters. They can use voting records to move one set of voters into one person's district and out of another person's district. In other words, politicians are choosing their voters instead of the voters choosing their politicians. The new maps, once passed, could hand Republicans 5 more seats in 2026. However, they also trigger a political and possibly legal redistricting war. High stakes and national implications. Why does this matter beyond Texas? Well, the GOP holds a narrow majority in the U.S. House. Every seat counts. The U.S. House of Representatives is currently 220 Republicans to 215 Democrats. The reality is, the party in power normally loses seats in the midterm elections. Midterm elections are ones where the president isn't on the ballot. If people are mad with Trump's policies, it could mean Republicans could lose seats in the House. If the Democrats take over the House, this could be very bad for President Trump. Democrats are bracing for future battles, with red states like Florida and Indiana under scrutiny. Meanwhile, blue state governors are openly considering retaliatory remaps, raising questions about the future of fair and independent districting. Further complicating matters is potential judicial action. With the Supreme Court mulling curbs on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, minority representation may face new threats. To wrap up, Texas is accelerating a mid-decade redistricting effort to potentially create 5 more Republican districts, which will mean Democrats lose 5 districts. Democrats halted it temporarily by representatives fleeing the state. That only lasted 2 weeks, but shined a spotlight on what Texas Republicans were doing. Then California played a high-stakes chess move, saying they would counter by taking 5 seats away from California Republicans. Now, both maps and narratives are poised to shape national power in 2026. This is not over. Watch the news for these developments and more. Texas's legislative vote is expected to come soon. Also, watch for any ensuing lawsuits. Will California's threat become reality, and how will California voters respond? Moves in other states, both red and blue? Will others attempt to reshape the map? Federal court actions and implications for the Voting Rights Act. If you have a story of how politicians have personally affected your life, go to whereiwas.com and share your story. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this redistricting standoff.